Nicole Santero, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's start with the basics here. What is K-pop and who's BTS?
Yeah, so K-pop essentially is South Korean pop music. Some see it more of as an industry, while others see it as a genre. But essentially, it's known for featuring a mixture of elements beyond just the music. So it incorporates things like the visual aspect, choreography, fashion, and more. Now, BTS is a seven-member music group from South Korea that debuted in 2013. They're known for writing music and producing their own songs that draw from personal experiences and touch on really meaningful themes, including overcoming struggles that young people face, mental health, societal pressures, finding self love, and more. On top of that, they're incredible performers and have served as role models for many people as they are UN ambassadors and advocates for a variety of causes. And so, with BTS's global reach, popularity, and achievements over the years, they've definitely gone far beyond the K pop industry to become a really significant part of music and pop culture as a whole.
When talking about K-pop, what is an ARMY?
Yeah, so ARMY is certainly synonymous with BTS. This is the name of their fan base and what their fans are referred to. And without a doubt, I think everyone has kind of come across an ARMY at some point, whether it's in person or social media. They are one of the most visible and engaged fandoms in the world. So behind the success of BTS is not just their music, but it's also these fans who are really passionate and made up of an incredibly diverse group of people, said to be in the tens of millions. And so not only do they come from all over the world and are of different cultures and backgrounds, but they span a wide range of ages, from young kids to working professionals to even grandparents. I myself, a few months ago during their concert in Las Vegas, I was sitting next to an ARMY who was 80 years old, and even my parents love BTS. So it's pretty incredible how this band speaks to so many. And then on top of this, ARMY is a really intelligent, organized, and very aware fan base who simply just wants to support BTS and also use their power to do a lot of good in the world just like them. So they're known for their philanthropy and organizing for social causes and charity as well.
And BTS has been called the biggest boy band worldwide. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's hard to argue against that, right? It feels as if most people who come across them become a fan eventually. And even those who don't typically listen to groups like BTS or pop music are very aware of who they are. I think part of that is because they came out at this perfect time with social media. So a group like them was able to reach so many people in every single part of the world, and we're able to go beyond geographical borders. I think that's been such a key factor for them, and then getting across the language barrier is also usually difficult, but BTS has really transcended that. And so with all their accomplishments and endless records being broken, I don't think we've seen anything like this to this extent. So I feel confident in saying that BTS is definitely the biggest boy band in the world.
What do you think is America's fascination with K-pop and more specifically with BTS?
Yeah, so as mentioned, K-pop blends together catchy songs, choreography, visuals, as well as storytelling, production value, and more. And I think that's what makes it really unique and intriguing for a lot of people. In addition to this, the general diversity of people in America in terms of racial, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds certainly plays a role in people exploring music and entertainment outside of our own country. BTS, however, has really stood out from the start in several ways, not just within K-pop, but in the music industry in general. They first off, they didn't really fit the perceived manufactured image of K-pop that people generally have of these artists. They kind of broke out of that mold and broke out of that specific category that many foreign artists are usually tied to. And they became a really significant part of the mainstream, which is obviously really difficult to do, especially when your music is in a different language. So we started seeing them performing and then winning at American award shows. We see them topping American music charts, and they've achieved these things really consistently in a way that even our biggest music artists today haven't been able to do so. And so I think what makes BTS really special is they didn't really sound like anyone else, nor did they try to be like anyone else. And so since the beginning, in addition to their performance and how polished they are as a group, they've really stayed true to their art and who they are. And I think that's something fans really appreciate. It's that authenticity and sincerity when it comes to the members. And they're so funny and personable people, each have their distinct personalities, yet have such great chemistry together, and you just can't stop watching them. And then also a key thing is they don't really shy away from their imperfections and insecurities, and it makes them so relatable. And so overall, BTS and their journey have always been the symbol of hard work and courage and not giving up and staying true to yourself. And that in itself has inspired so many people around the world who see themselves in the group and find comfort in them. And there's a really nice saying among armies that you find BTS when you need them most. And I think that alone speaks to how much they mean to people who listen to their music and how much they resonate on a much deeper level.
Well, under South Korean law, most able-bodied men are required to perform 18 to 21 months of military service, but special exemptions had been granted for athletes and artists who excel in certain international competitions that have been tied to national prestige. So whether the BTS members would be required to serve in the military had been a widely debated and talked about issue, but their management company now says they will perform their required duty and regroup around 2025 when their service ends. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not Korean, so it's not totally in my place to say whether they should or shouldn't serve, but it's definitely a fact that BTS has brought so much cultural and economic impact to their country, and they deserve a lot of credit for all their contributions alone. But, I think regardless of the outcome, fans were ready to continue supporting them and are very proud of them. So this is just another chapter for BTS, and there's certainly hope in what's to come for the members, both as a group and individual artists. So I myself am very excited to see what's next and for their return as a group after all of this.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting is if you think about it, they'll be in that military service. So 2025 possibly is when they will reunite. That kind of leaves, I guess, a void, so to speak, in K-pop and really just in that type of music.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? I think it's important to really acknowledge that even before BTS debuted, K-pop was already very popular among audiences in different countries outside of Korea as well. So there's been a growing number of K-pop fans, even in the US and around the world for many, many years already with a lot of other groups. None had just ever been as successful as BTS. So I think that's what's really interesting. And so, what's even more fascinating is a lot of people who love BTS had never previously been K-pop fans, nor had they listened to K-pop ever. So that in itself shows that BTS is so different and speaks to a lot of their ability to not just gain a K-pop audience, but a wider audience that didn't want to be confined to a category as well. And so, BTS certainly became a doorway for international fans to South Korean culture and entertainment. And we saw an increase in tourism, as well as a greater increase in people wanting to learn Korean language. They're referenced in so many pieces of mainstream pop culture, and additionally everything BTS touches and promotes turns to gold, right? So overall, I don't think that this means the end of, K-pop influence around the world, but theoretically, yes, if there were no BTS, I think this absence would be felt very strongly economically and culturally for sure.
So will there ever be a K-pop band that is as big as BTS, in your opinion?
Oh man, I don't think there will be another group that has the same cultural and global impact, at least to this extent, like BTS, at least not for a very long time. The success of BTS is such a complex mix of different factors that were built over many years, both by the group themselves when it came to their music, as well as the fans and their relationship with the band. So where BTS is today, it took a lot of time, care, thoughtfulness, and hard work and so many aspects, and it's not really something that can be fully replicated overnight. So there's no doubt that BTS is a very special and once in a generation type of group for sure.
My last question here, do you think that fans will be as devoted when they come back together possibly in 2025?
Oh yeah, absolutely. BTS fans are here to stay, and they'll be here waiting for them to return as a group in the near future. In the meantime, the members will have different projects, and not to mention there's endless content to keep fans entertained and busy. I actually wouldn't be surprised if BTS continues to gain even more fans during this time. That's very similar to what happened throughout the peak of the pandemic. And, that's when while the music industry seemed to stand still, BTS just became bigger. They're plenty of music, videos, and shows for current fans to rewatch and for new fans to discover. And there's a whole community of ARMYs who don't just support BTS, but support each other. And so I think that this is the beauty of the BTS world, and BTS really isn't going anywhere.
All right, Nicole, thank you so much for being here. Anything else that you want to add before we let you go?
I don't think so. I appreciate you having me on, and appreciate everyone being very interested in BTS and ARMY. It's a really fascinating thing for sure.
A fantastic interview, and I can guarantee that we will have her on again very soon as we do talk more about BTS, the major K-pop band joining the military, not coming back together until about 2025, leaving a void there in K-pop. 8:02 if you are joining us on the East Coast, and 5:02 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I'm here for the next several hours to bring you all of your top stories from across the country and across the world.